Okay, so hey guys, and welcome back to another predictions video, and in today's video I'm going to be predicting the Catterall versus Linares fight. If you are new around here though and you haven't yet subscribed, please do so, like video if you do indeed like video, and let's get straight into it. So going into this fight, Catterall is 27-1 with 13 KOs and Linares is 47-8 with 29 KOs. This fight is for the WBA Intercontinental Super Lightweight title. Catterall's last fight was a win via unanimous decision versus Foley, and Linares' last fight was a loss via unanimous decision versus Hamza Ryan. Catterall is 30 and Linares is 38. Catterall is a southpaw. This is in Catterall's home country of England. Catterall's loss came via split decision versus Taylor in 2022, and Linares' losses have come against Hamza Ryan in 2022, Abdullayev in 2022, Haney in 2021, Kano in 2019, Lomachenko in 2018, Thompson in 2012, DeMarco in 2011, Zambrano in 2009, and that's all of them. And he's been pro since 2002. Of his last 5 fights, he's only won 2 of them. But just to speak a bit more, and of course though, he is the former WBC World Featherweight, WBA World Super Featherweight, and WBA and WBC World Lightweight Champion. Speak a bit more about what I just said. Of course, it's for a Intercontinental title. It's a big fight for Catterall. I mean, it's a big fight for Linares as well, but it's obvious that he's on the decline of his career, and so this might be one of his final big fights. And I mean, I suppose if he wins this, he then goes back into the bunch of where he was at before, but like I said, if he loses this, then it's where does he go from here kind of point. But that's probably going to add more determination, and you can never write out something like a Linares, and he's proven that. And so just like I said, speak a bit more about what I was just saying. Catterall's last performance, a very dominating, good performance against Foley, coming back off the defeat. It was a little bit of time out for him, and then to get back into the ring and perform like he did against a tough operator like Foley, who is always going to make it a difficult night and is very game and, like I said, very tough. And so he did well, he performed well, and was a very convincing performance from him. And Linares' last fight was not a very good fight for him. It was a dominating defeat. It was a very tough defeat for him to take, I'm sure, and it was another one, like I said, 2 of the last 5 he's won, so 3 of the last 5 he's lost, and so he's not on the best runs of form at the moment. Of course, him having that 8-year age deficit is not exactly going to be the best thing for him either. Of course, being 38, got to question how long's even left in his career at this point. Possibly he's just craving these big fights now, which I respect because he's had quite a lot of them, and I'm sure he's not going to want to step down an opponent too much, and so he might not have many fights left if he loses this one, because he might not want to take that step down in opponents. But of course, like I said, if he wins this one, then the world's his oyster again, and he goes back to having big opportunities available. Catterall, of course, the southpaw, he's going to make that difficult for anybody being a southpaw, and he uses his jab so well off that southpaw stance. It's difficult to deal with. Of course, this being in his home country, like I mentioned, and then I mean, Catterall's only defeat, that split decision one, which everybody classes really as a win, to be honest, because it wasn't really a bad defeat, and it shouldn't really have been a defeat. And so he technically, in my books, is still undefeated. But the fact that he managed to come back after the defeat and, like I said, put on a very good performance since then, it's just credit to him, because I'm sure there was a lot going on outside mentally that he had to deal with from that defeat, and so, like I said, credit to him. Of course, like I said, Linares, former 3-time world champion. It's very impressive. You can't be bad and be able to do that, and so he's clearly got the added experience and has fought at the top level for a long time, fought at a higher level than what Catterall's fought at, and managed to have success at that level in the past. And so you never know, there's still opportunities and still a chance that he could do that again. Speak a bit more about the actual fighter's abilities. Catterall, his positives: he can box on the inside or the outside, on the front foot or the back foot. He can control range very well. He's accurate. He's got great straight shots and a great straight 1-2. His fundamentals are great. He's consistent. He doesn't really get out-strengthed. He's sharp, efficient, outboxes, got a good chin as well. He's kind of smooth in the way he operates around the ring. He's got great reactions. He's composed. He feints well. He's got good timing. Like I said, he's faced that mental adversity. So I suppose if he goes and has to go into that in the ring, then I believe that he's already got that toughness to be able to deal with it. His defensive movement is great, and he's got a high ring IQ. He's a very good boxer. I'm a fan of him, and I think he could definitely go on to fight for a world title with the way that he does fight and how dominant he's been, especially in his last fight as well. Like, it looks so good. It was so impressive. It showed that he's clearly levels above his opponent, and technically it's very nice to see. And the fact that he is so defensively solid as well is just a very good thing to see as well. And he's not really doing anything crazy, I don't think, with his actual offense, but just a straight 1-2 is just such a good fundamental to have, and the way he operates it is just very impressive. And then when he does get going with his combinations as well, it's accurate, like I said, and got good timing as well. And the fact that he can box, and to be fair, does box quite a bit on the back foot. Not necessarily the best thing if he isn't throwing much, because the judges aren't really going to score you around just because you're not getting hit off the back foot necessarily. But it is nice to be able to see him be able to deal with pressure and, like I say, just keep composed as well, and then be able to operate like that. And it's, like I said, impressive. The negatives: he's not crazily powerful. In my opinion, he lacks a bit of aggression at times. He could do with possibly more body work at times. He may be overlooking Linares here because, like I said, he's not on the best of runs of form either, and I'm sure he's wanting and thinking, Catterall, that he deserves a world title shot by this point. He's happy to be on the back foot. Like I said, not necessarily a bad thing because, like I said, he can find success on the back foot still and not kind of look out of control on the back foot, but he's not going to win rounds necessarily, like I mentioned, if he's not throwing on the back foot or if he's just throwing little jabs off the back foot, which isn't going to be efficient enough if he is getting caught with his own, ones coming against him. He's a bit of a slower starter. He's got a low output at times. He can be a little bit reckless on the inside. People call him dirty a little bit. I won't call him dirty. I'd just say that there's just little things on the inside, like against Foley. He got the point deducted and he was doing little shots that shouldn't have happened, or if he was using his shoulder a little bit. Like I said, he didn't get out strengthed, which is nice to see, but sometimes he's finding his own strength from other areas, and so it's not always the best, and you can't really be getting these point deductions in close fights. I'm not saying that last one was, but I'm just saying you can't really be getting point deductions in high level fights because that could make or break the fight. And I feel like, just to go back on what I said, the lack of a progression, I feel like at points he could close out the show better, and against Foley I think he could have stopped him, but he turns it up. But like I said, I don't feel like he imposes himself enough and puts enough into his shots to be able to really stamp that authority and then really get his opponent out of there, which I think he can do, and he just doesn't quite do it enough. And like I said, that more body work, if he'd gone to the body a little bit more when Foley was hurt, I think he could have stopped him there and then. But to speak about Linares as a fighter, of course he's experienced. He's got levels of experience which Catterall probably or might not ever get, really, because of how long Linares has been doing this for. But what does that come with as well? The age as well. But as a fighter, he punches with intent. We've seen that. He's had moments against big fighters. Against Loma, he dropped him, I believe, and had success against Haney as well, hurt Haney as well. And so he's doing things which not many fighters have been able to do, if any. He's been active as well. He's been fighting quite regularly. He's physically, in my opinion, the bigger guy. He's always fights to the end. He always likes to give his all. He can never really be counted out in a fight. He has heart. I'm sure he'll try and push Catterall back in the process as well and stamp his authority with his big shots as well. And if he can land one or two, then you never know, Catterall might maybe not become flustered, but maybe just have to respect him a little bit more. And so, like I said, he's definitely somebody you want to be keeping an eye on. You can't be overlooking him and underestimating him. And like I said, the fact that he has managed to find success in these big fights, in fights which he's probably more used to, like I said, well, he's probably more used to being the underdog for, but in these fights which he is being such a big underdog, the fact that he's still having success and doing it against these fighters which, like I said, nobody else has really been able to find success against like that, it's impressive, and it shows that there's definitely something there, and you can never switch off against him, and it's going to be still a tough night for Catterall. Negatives about him: he's definitely past his best. That's no doubt, really. He does get hit when he's on the back foot. He can be outboxed. He's got a lack of movement. He's got not much defense really. He doesn't let his hands go enough. He does get frustrated. He doesn't follow up on his positives, his things that he does well, and the things, if he hurts somebody, like when he hurt Haney, he didn't really follow up on it. When he hurt Loma, he didn't really follow up on it enough. He's slower, he's hesitant, and he can get bullied around the ring as well. And these things like getting outboxed and getting bullied around the ring and becoming hesitant is just things that you can't really be having against a fighter like Catterall, because I feel like with his boxing ability, he can definitely just outbox fighters and really punish you if you are just willing to get outboxed and not quick enough, and you just haven't got the movement for him, because Catterall, he's got great movement as well, and the fact that he could probably run rings around Linares if he wants to, but like I said, you can't count Linares out. Catterall, of course, is the favourite for this fight, and I think that Catterall will win via TKO in round 8. I feel like there will be levels to it, and I'd like to see Catterall really stamp on a performance and just add that bit more of aggression, which I'd like to see a bit more of. And it'd be sad because Linares, like I said, he's been a legend of the sport. He's done a lot for the sport and been around for the sport for a while. But I think this time has come, and Catterall, I really do like what I'm seeing from Catterall for the moment, and hopefully he can go on to possible big fights. Do I think he can go on to a world title after this? I doubt it, to be completely honest. I mean, if there's any of the top, I don't think Lopez would fight him, because it's not a big enough fight for Lopez. If he's going to fight any of the champions, it'd probably be Matias, but I doubt that out, really. Possible options: Taylor again, of course, you never know. Barroso could be a good option. I think there's a rumour for him to fight somebody, I can't remember who it is, but possibly is a good fight. It's another top level fighter who's fought at a high level. Or Barbosa Jr., another huge level contender who could make for a big fight really against Catterall, as they're in a similar position kind of rankings wise, and if you want him to take out one of the other top contenders, that could be a huge fight if you can't get a world title fight, which, like I said, I doubt he can really. But yeah, that is it for today's video. Hope you did enjoy. Like the video if you didn't, like the video, subscribe if you're new, and thanks for watching.